Hi everybody, I'm kenfoody, and I realize that many of you have been introduced to me lately, and I've met a bunch of you online, and that there's not a whole lot of information about me and about who I am and about what I do. If you've seen me either on my website, either of my two websites, either kenfoody.com or mostproductiveself.com, or if you've met me on Facebook or Twitter or MySpace or empoweredprofiles.com, or wherever it was that you've met me, I wanted to share a little bit about who I am. Now, I try and usually keep my videos very short, just a few minutes. This one's going to be probably just a little bit longer so that you can get to know me a little bit, so that you can understand the things that are very important to me in my work, why I do, what I hope to bring to the table. So for starters, I've been doing what I do in some form since I was about 15 years old, which is 19 years ago. And I've owned some form of a company since then. And I went to college the first time for business and computer science double major. I got burnt out, worked in Silicon Valley for a couple of years as a recruiter, for a couple long years actually as a recruiter, and then went into business for myself as a small business consultant. About 15 years ago, I opened my first small business company. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, I added a little bit of a financial training aspect to the consulting work that I did. Hence most of the stuff that you see nowadays on my site and people that have been clients of mine for years. So where I'm at now is my goal is essentially to help people become their most productive self. Hence the name of my website. I know it's not original, I know it's not sexy, but that's the goal. And essentially the basic philosophy that I have is there's a simple formula for people to become their most productive self. 99.9% of the people in the world don't accomplish this. I'm one of them. I don't do all that I could as well as I could, but it's my passion to help people do that, and so hopefully it rubs off on me and I can, be a little better at it myself. So essentially what I mean by that is this is the craziest day and age to live in. It's now 2009. We have a new president who has energized the country a lot. I'm hoping that things work out the way that he hopes they can. But essentially, today's day and age is insane technology like never before, internet capabilities, cell phone capabilities, just every kind of communication that you can have is at your doorstep. And that can be a very daunting thing. It can definitely paralyze people to the point where that's all they do all day is try and keep up with things. There's 4,000 HD satellite channels they can watch, and ridiculous speeds on internet that some farmer in the middle of nowhere, Utah, like where I am, can have access to everything. And that can be a very daunting task in terms of becoming productive and becoming successful. Now let me explain. I've never met a single person in my life who can tell me they don't want to be productive and who can tell me they don't want to be successful. I've never met anyone. So let's just start off. That's the premise that I operate under. Every human being, no matter who you are, wants to be productive and wants to be successful. So that's where we start. So the things that help that are education, discipline, and action. That's the path. The things that prevent those things are just distraction, apathy, lack of energy, stress in every form, particularly financial. That's why my philosophy is the way it is. So let me break that down for you just a little bit. I'm a big picture guy. Anybody that knows me, and if you've seen my profile on empoweredprofiles.com, please take a look at it. It's far more about getting to know me than this video will ever do. It's the ins and outs, and I've kind of opened myself up. But essentially, I'm a big picture guy. I'm a vision, I like that kind of stuff. And most importantly, I like to help people find that sort of stuff. But I've learned after beating my head against a wall for a long time with people that I really care about, that's what's happened. I find people that I try and help. I get to know them. I get to know their families. I fall in love with them. And then because of bad habits, lack of education, and poor discipline, and poor commitment to themselves and their family, they never they continue to suffer. They continue to stay down on the bottom of the slippery slope and never get back up. And it breaks my heart over and over and over again. And so hence the sense of urgency that I have in my life. Again, you see it in my profile. I am one way in my natural self, and the difference between my natural self and my environment is my level of urgency and my level of extrovertedness, being willing to talk to people and get out. I'm a pretty open guy, pretty outgoing guy. But that all gets bumped up a level when it comes to doing something that I'm very passionate about, which is helping families, period. Families, as far as I'm concerned, are the fundamental unit of society. That's just how it is. If you get your family right, you are successful everywhere else. One of my biggest passions is golf. Anybody that knows me knows I'm an avid golfer. I love it. I wish I'd been doing it since I was 5, but unfortunately I haven't. If I could do anything, I'd play professional golf for a living, if I could just choose. But I'll never be that guy. But I'm a good business consultant, and I'm a good personal financial consultant. And the things that I've known with all the pros that I've had a chance to meet with and get to know and care about, is that one of the big obstacles that prevent them from playing their best golf, which correlates directly to making the most amount of money and taking care of their family, is just lack of understanding and lack of discipline. So I've put together a program that I haven't laid out yet. I'm writing a book actually on tournament golf, helping professional golfers be the best that they possibly can and get the most out of their God-given talents. And so that's something that's a passion for me, because I want to be able to take somebody that has skills and talents that I just will never get to because I haven't been doing it as long, and give them their best chance to succeed at doing something that I'm very passionate about. So to be able to do that, I've designed a program to help them evaluate everything in their lives so they can learn to compartmentalize. So in the middle of all of my research for the golf book that I've been writing, I talked with a gentleman really well known here named John Taylor in the state of Utah. Incredible player. He's a senior now. And even the PGA Tour pros that I've talked with that know him say he's so talented. He could easily, if he decided that's what he wanted to do, easily have been a senior tour player. He's that good. And he's also just a stud, just the nicest guy you'd ever meet. And so I went out with him one day. We played 9 holes together in a men's association that we play in, and I picked his brain. I said, John, you've seen every talented player that's come out of Utah in the last who knows how many years, and you know them personally, and you've seen what they do. And I said, can you give me a little insight into what makes one player more successful than another? One person reaches potential versus another. And I was expecting a really long, elaborate answer. But I didn't get one. He told me one thing, and he said, I could tell you a lot, but I've found that the people that are happy in their life play the best golf. That's the bottom line. If you're happy in your life, you play better golf. If you have all the talent in the world, but you're not a happy person, you don't have a happy life, you're not going to be able to get the most out of your talent. And that's amazed me, but it makes perfect sense with everything that I've believed this whole time. That correlates in every possible world. Everybody says money can't buy happiness. Well, a lot of guys have a lot of money, a lot of guys aren't happy. So for me, I want to help people find their happy place, for lack of a better term.